Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, June the 3rd. And this is an important week because on Thursday, the 6th, is going to be another new moon that we have every 4 weeks. And the new moon draws our attention to a different domain of our lives. But let's start with Monday, the 3rd. The moon, which sets the public tone, the public reactions, is in Taurus. Taurus is steady, calming, likes its routine. It's very practical energy. Now, that along with the moon in Taurus all day, which is a nice moon to start the new work week, Mercury, decision-making, analytical, discerning Mercury, will be in the best flow of energy, maybe twice a year, with Pluto. Now, this is strongest more the last half of the day, Pacific Daylight Time. When Mercury, which is all that curiosity and learning and ideas, is in a very positive, harmonious trine to Pluto, Pluto can rule that Mercury can bring in a real interest in all things Plutonian. On a mundane level, doing a lot of studying, doing a lot of researching, but you might have a lot of interest, Mercury, in psychology, that's Pluto, or investigation, ferreting out secrets, that's the Pluto. On the 4th, the moon continues in steady, calming Taurus, and now discerning Mercury is aligning with Jupiter, which it does usually about once a year. This depends of its retrograding back and forth on the Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is like the higher vibration of Mercury. What I mean by that is think of Mercury as writing the book, and Jupiter is publishing the book. Mercury is the grammar school years. Jupiter deals with the university years. So it's two sides of the same coin, having a lot to do with learning, communications, a lot. And now this is really favorable for traveling or making travel plans. The same token with education, which is Jupiter, or marketing and publishing, which is Jupiter. Plus, the sun in Gemini is going to be spotlighting Venus. Venus is the planet of relationships, creativity, cooperation, and harming. So it can be a very social day. Now, this could be a great day to start a vacation because the Mercury with the Jupiter is all that expansive traveling energy, and the Sun Venus is all that pleasurable, enjoyable energies. On Wednesday, the 5th, the moon is now in Gemini, where Taurus is more this steady, focus, grounding energies. When the moon goes into Gemini, we're like interested in so many different things. We're running all over the place. We're walking and talking and chewing gum at the same time. That Gemini is great for learning because it's ruled by Mercury, great for making all kinds of plans, a lot of business meetings. And this moon in Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is going to align with Mercury mid-morning Pacific time. This is a really favorable time of the day, Pacific time, for writing, for communications, for public speaking, being able to really sell yourself at a business meeting. Thursday, that moon in Gemini is now going to form a new moon. And the new moon is at 16 degrees of Gemini. So a lot of focus on ideas and learning, etc. Venus is going to be at 16 degrees of Gemini when the new moon hits. So Venus, cooperative, relational, pleasurable Venus, is really influencing the new moon for those 4 weeks. However, taskmaster Saturn, controlling restricted Saturn, is going to be squaring or in a hard angle to the Venus and to the to the new moon, the new moon in Gemini. So relationships, Venus with Saturn, is going to be a major focus for many of you, where it's pointing to, it's time to do a lot of work, some heartfelt work on the relationships. But Venus is also a planet of finance, and Saturn is structure and business. So this month could also be, for others, the main focus could be on business. And Venus is the arts and creativity. And actually, when Venus is in a hard angle to Saturn, it's actually positive for manifesting creative projects, really working to develop a creative vision. And that's being all set in motion on the new moon on June the 6th until the next new moon 4 weeks later. On Friday, the moon goes into emotional, nurturing, family-oriented Cancer at 5:42 a.m. Pacific time. Now, when the moon was in Gemini, and that new moon in Gemini is still that background energies for the next 4 weeks, Gemini is this restlessness, running around, these ideas, very extroverted, very sociable. But when the moon goes into Cancer for those next 2.5 days, starting on the 7th, moon in Cancer, people tend to just want to be more reflective of their past, more introspective. Some people just want to stay close to home or focusing on the weekend with domestic tasks and projects, hanging out with family. By the evening, Friday evening, Pacific time, pleasurable Venus will be an exact hard angle to Saturn. So it was close enough with the new moon that energy of the Venus-Saturn I discussed would be manifesting throughout the month. But on the very next day, the Venus in the evening of the 7th Pacific time, the Venus is now exactly impacting the Saturn. So whatever this focus on relational work, or focusing on what you need to do to increase your income, or manifesting creative projects. A lot of that is going to be really grabbing your attention at the end of the day on Friday, Pacific time, but into the first half of Saturday. But the first half of the day on Sunday, the Sun, transiting in Gemini, is going to form a hard angle called a square to Saturn. Now, the first half of the day, Pacific time, you may be feeling more tired, more worried about your responsibilities. But on a more upbeat, optimistic expression of this, you can accomplish a lot of your goals, your tasks, because this Sun-Saturn can be very focused, hardworking energies. But come 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, the moon leaves that emotional, sensitive Cancer and goes into fiery, dramatic, extroverted Leo. Good for Saturday. Many of you may just rather stay at home or just hang out with family. And then Sunday, after 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, many of you may decide it's time to get out of the house, throw a party, go, attend some entertainment venue, go on a vacation. And when the moon goes into Leo at 12:30 p.m., it's going to be in a hard angle to impatient Mars. So in some ways, there might be a lot of anxious restlessness, impulsiveness in the early afternoon, Pacific time. Or it's going to feel like you're being shot out of a cannon, where all the Cancer energy was more sensitive and reflective and internal. And then the moon goes into fiery Leo in a hard angle to fiery Mars. Boom, you're off to the races. Lots of activity, lots of running around. Later in the afternoon, 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific time, now the moon, the emotional moon, will be in opposition to Pluto. Opposition is interacting with others. Pluto, there could be some secrets being revealed from somebody. There could be these intense power struggles with somebody. But as I always say, this too shall pass, because it only lasts an hour or two. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.